Hello and welcome to Keyway Design. In this video we're going to talk about pin keyways, and there's two different ways of utilizing these, and both are not going to be in a functional standpoint, but they're great for alignment or other ideas that you can think of. So the first one you can see is on the edge here, and typically if you're going to do a pin style you're going to have at least two, one on each side opposing, or you could do 4 or 3. But typically you want to have them on opposing sides, bare minimum. The other style is actually having it fit into the hub itself and then have the shaft actually slide into the hub, and it's almost like a shoulder, and that's just another way of doing things. So you can have multiple components that way. Be great for just playing with in different aspects of things anyways. So I'm gonna put this together and show you a cutaway version so that you can get an idea of how this actually works for both styles. And then just do a quick section view. So here you can see the two different styles. So like I mentioned before, the shaft actually slides along the groove until it butts up against this keyway, or the key here, again acting like a shoulder. And then the other style, the pin would slide in until it hits, just like a regular keyway. You could also have it where there is actually material on the other opposing side of this as well, but typically I would use a shaft like this as a locator pin, and that's kind of about it. So yeah, just some things to think about when you're using this style. So I'm going to actually just show you some of the pieces, how they work, and go from there. So here you can see the shaft itself, and essentially the way that this would work is you're going to have a cutaway. And I'm just going to take a look at the cutaway itself. And you can see that it's going to essentially sit where the 1/4 inch, well, this is a 1/4 inch pin, the 1/4 inch edges are going to match up to the points that it's going to meet onto the shaft itself. And then essentially it cuts its way through. So you can go to a depth that way, or you could, again, like I said, have a little bit of a shoulder. It's just the difference is when you use this style where it's open, when you put the shaft into a specific distance, it'll essentially be able to push it in, again being more of a locator pin. The other side is a similar idea, however you're using this as the guiding spot for it. So same idea for dimensioning, it's just utilized a little differently. So let's take a look at the hub and go from there. So here you can see the hub, and the two styles are going to be similar, but again, just utilized differently. So the first style is identical to every other keyway we've talked about, where it just goes in a specific depth. The other style is utilizing it as a shoulder, and this can be a little bit more of a difficult one to do, especially when you have the opposing sides, like if you had it on both sides here. But essentially it'd be designed the same way, where you kind of cut it in, and then you just plop that pin in as a guiding pin and go from there. Another way that this can be potentially used is if you actually had half of this attach in a different way, just to make it easier to design or machine if we're machining it. But of course we're 3D printing, so it doesn't really matter. It can easily do this little groove, no problem. So that is how that is kind of designed. Essentially when this is done, you put the pin in and then you'd slide the shaft in, no problem. So that's just how that works. And then the pin itself, we'll take a look at right away here as well. As you can see here, the pin is very simple. It's essentially just a 1/4 inch pin set to a specific distance, which I believe was 30 seconds shorter than an inch. So that would be 31 seconds basically. So yeah, it's a very simple pin. Things to consider is try to keeping it size on size if you can, but you can make it a little bit bigger for the opening for the actual grooves, but just be careful how much you go, because then there might be a lot more rotation because it's sitting on a tangential point. So hopefully that helps. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Otherwise, this is Tyler with 3D Printer Store, and I hope you have a great day.